So recently I've been doing a lot more with online sales, particularly dealing with Poshmark. I tried Poshmark in the past, but this time it's going a little bit better. Let me clue you in as to why and talk you through kind of the sales today. I'm packing up some sales of some recent stuff that I've sold, and then talk about how you can also sell your stuff on Poshmark successfully. So the first thing that I want to mention is that when you want to sell on Poshmark, you want to get some sort of mailers or materials that you can use. So for instance, I have these, and these are thin mailers that you can buy in bulk off of Amazon, and it's much cheaper than getting boxes each time or those prepaid bubble wrapped mailers. And since you already have a bunch of them, it's easy because you can just plop them in and then you can tape your printed label off and put the clothing inside of them. And then if you feel like it's kind of a heavier item or you need to protect it more, you can use 2 of them. So essentially, once you sell something on Poshmark, Poshmark will notify you in the app on your phone, and they will also send you an email. Both of those ways you can get a mailing label, which then you can ship out your item. They want you to ship it out within 1 to 2 days. So typically what I like to do is ship everything out at once that's sold. So if I know that I'm about to sell something or someone put an offer on something, I'll wait a little while and then like see if they're going to accept that offer. That way I'm not running back and forth to the post office, especially with all this COVID stuff going down. So I get an email and it looks kind of like this, like your top just sold, and then it just tells you like what your details are, and like then you have a prepaid mailing label. This is what you want to get. You want to print it out. When I have multiple orders shipping out at once, which is what happened on a day like today, is that I check the order number and I check the last couple digits on the order number, because that is where you basically verify that you're sending the right thing to the right person. So I print out my labels and then I pull up the computer and I go in and make sure that the right shirt or the right pair of shorts is going to the right person. Then I put them in the mailers. I cut out the excess paper and then I tape it with packing tape to the mailer once it's packed. Next up, I grabbed some handy dandy scissors. These were huge for some reason. Look how big these are. But anyways, these are the ones I found around the house, and I'm going to cut off these excess edges and tape it to the containers that I'm shipping in. So this one was a bundle order, and so there's like 4 pieces of clothing in here. So I'm going to double bag it just in case, and then I'm gonna put the label on it. So from what I understand, if someone buys multiple items from you, but they don't buy it in a bundle format, then you have to ship it separate, because the way that Poshmark keeps track of your shipment and makes sure that you send something is through the shipping labels. So if the person pays for shipping, you have to send it as a separate parcel, otherwise you won't get paid for it. Because they could just say package arrived for 1 of 3 packages if someone bought 3 different items from you, but that person didn't verify that they got all 3 items. They just verified 1 of the items. So you want to make sure that you don't make that mistake so you can get paid for your clothes. So a few things that will help you with getting to sell your own stuff on Poshmark is, first, kind of go through your closet, find things that are still in decent condition. You don't want to sell things that have holes, because Poshmark actually has a rating system, and so once you sell an item, if there's like a bad rating, then it could kick you off of Poshmark hypothetically. So you don't want that. You want to sell items that are gently used, still in decent condition, and have some sort of value to them. Ask yourself, is this something that I would actually buy? And then price according to that if you really want your items to sell. Say, hey, how much would I spend on this? And then obviously you're going to have people kind of give you lower offers. And so you kind of have to think of that ahead of time. So maybe if you want to think like, okay, what's the lowest that I would accept, and maybe put it a couple dollars more than that. So that way when they actually offer you less, you can accept that offer. And then another thing to know is get familiar with Poshmark's pricing strategy. They actually do take a significant cut for selling your item, but then again, they do have high traffic on those items, so you are more likely to sell on Poshmark versus something like Craigslist. Have mailers or some sort of like boxes, so if you get Amazon shipments or any sort of shipments that you may have boxes or bubble wrap around from, or if you want to pick up some bubble wrap if you have more delicate items that you're trying to sell, I'd recommend having that in advance, and then you can kind of keep it somewhere so that way when you do actually sell items, you're able to ship it out within the 1 to 2 day period. As a Poshmark seller, you want to make sure that you sell as quickly as possible, like ship out your sale as quickly as possible after you sell it, so that way your customer can receive it in a timely manner. Poshmark does have a policy, I think it's like 2 days, and then they have 2-day shipping, so you want to make sure you get it shipped out within 2 days. Obviously on a weekend you wouldn't be able to ship it out, but they're talking as in like weekdays, so Monday through Friday. When you actually make cash on Poshmark, you can deposit it to different areas, so you want to set that up once you decide that you want to spend it, or you can spend it as credit in their store. So if you come across something that you really like, then you can actually use your Poshmark credit from selling something to order something through the site, which is pretty cool. You can also get bundles. What bundles are is basically a grouping of multiple items that another person makes, and when they make a bundle, you're notified of it. Once you get this notification, you can either offer them a special discount or deal for buying things in bulk or multiple items from you, or you can wait for them to make an offer. I recommend going ahead and making an offer if they don't do so within 24 hours, because you want to make sure that they're fresh on the mind of their potential purchase. You want to make sure that they're potentially interested, that you're giving them some sort of incentive to go ahead and buy. So that's where, again, you got to price according to what you're willing to sell for, so that way when someone does do a bundle, you're not in a situation where you can't sell the item without like basically losing money on it, because Poshmark does charge you to sell it. So I'd say also another thing that I didn't mention earlier is photos. If you are selling something and you know the name of it, you know it's a common item, or you know that it was from season of 2018 or whatever it happens to be, and you know the brand, you can look it up and find those original photos, like the perfectly like put together photos of what this outfit actually looks like, and then you can put that as your first and second images if you take screenshots of them. And then after that, you put a photo of the actual item that you've taken to show that it's a legit item. And then you can show like the actual quality of it. So if there is any wear and tear, make sure to note that, so that way the person knows like, okay, there's like something that needs to be addressed. So for instance, like I have a skirt that had a zipper that wasn't working, but I know that this skirt would be of value to someone if they did fix it, so it was priced low according to that. So I just make sure that you note things like that. And then a lot of people, if you post jeans or anything, they want to know the different measurements. So if you have a measure app on your phone, you actually don't have to have a measuring stick handy, so you can actually use an approximate measurement with your phone, which is super cool, because you can put from point A to point B on your phone and then kind of scroll over and it'll tell you what the length is, which is super cool. And I found that super useful, especially for when people are asking me questions about jeans. And then I also look up items, so if there's something similar that someone else has posted, then I try and see what their price range is on it. You know, just look at the market for the certain brand that you're trying to sell and see generally what a pair of shorts or a top or a dress is going for in that category of that specific brand, and that should give you a better idea on how to price things to sell. I hope this has really helped you, and happy selling with Poshmark.